No, we haven't started yet.
No, I know that.
No, I was just saying.
Oh. Don't interrupt me while I'm in the
Yeah, I didn't know if you was looking at the camera when you wanted to look down a bit because you beat. Welcome along to the pirate premiere of The Big Dip.
It tells 40 years of history of this local tradition, raising money for worthy causes.
It was in August the 9th, 1981. I'd been swimming for a back injury that I received. I went to Stoke Mandeville to get physiotherapy on my back and swam there. I got a record 25-metre gold medal from Stoke Mandeville. A few years later, I was asked if I could do a channel swim. And they gave me 2 days' notice to say, could I do it? And I said, yes, I'd jump at it. When the channel swim was done in the August, and we thought, come the end of the year, we thought, how can we finish the year off on a high? Talking on CB radio at the time, I was talking to a gentleman called John Sutton. We were sort of having a sort of a bet, you know, could we make something of a dip?
It was just a bit of fun that we was talking about on the CB. Geoff and John were going to do a Boxing Day dip, and Marlborough Toast come in on the side and said, anything you can do, I can do better.
That was a challenge, to throw the gauntlets down. We accepted that challenge, and I'd say on Boxing Day, 11 o'clock, on the north side of Deal Pier, the event happened. And our friend Marlborough, she walked from Alfred Square right up on the seafront with just a bikini and a towel over her shoulder. But that was the start.
It sort of progressed over the years, you know. The first year there was 3, the next year there was a few more people that took part. And then all of a sudden one year I looked up and the pier was absolutely full of people. I couldn't believe my eyes. They were all along the promenade, right the way from one hotel to the pier and all along the beach. It was just fantastic. And the people that took part, we had a Frenchman, he was here on holiday. I was just walking past and we were setting up and he said, what are you doing? I said, the Boxing Day dip. And he went home, got his swimming costume, come back, jumped in the sea, gave me his name and address, and I posted him a certificate and a trophy. Lots of different people dressing up in all different sorts of costumes. You name it, we've done it. From doctor surgeries to paramedic motorbikes to special groups for children with special needs. Jaundice meter for babies that lived in the country and to save them going to hospital in the middle of the night. People used to phone me up all the time, day, night. It was hectic.
It was even getting to the point where Margaret would ring me up and say, oh, I've had a message, someone wants to register, have you had it yet? I said, no. So she'd forward me this and I'd still be registering people on Christmas Day. I used to have to book a week of my own annual leave to do all the registrations and make sure everything was in order. I did enjoy that. Again, it's just being part of it all.
Crazy because we were getting up and it was manic first thing in the morning, We were all running around like sort of like headless chickens and packing the car up. You don't drink Christmas Day because you know you've got to get up Boxing Day, do the dip. We loved it. Over the years, we absolutely loved it.
It was fantastic. All the people that used to come to the presentation night, you know, we got a chance to thank them. We invited the people along to hand the money over so that we could see where that money was going. It got bigger and bigger. I mean, one year we raised over £10,000, and every single year something would suddenly pop up in the Mercury. Some little girl or some little boy would need help, and that's how we went on. People would approach us and asked us if we could raise money for them, which was an honour.
I mean, we've wanted to do it for years and years, growing up down here, and then moving away and coming back. It was kind of an ambition. You kind of force yourself, I really want to do this. This is something I want to do. And then it comes close to the day and you kind of back away. And then this year, there was no escape for me, in honesty.
I was scrolling through Instagram and like a thing came up and was like, oh, this is it. And I was like, oh, I wanted to do that. All right, I'm gonna ask my parents. So I asked my mum and she was like, you're not doing that by yourself, but you can ask someone. So I asked my sister, but she was like, no, I'm not doing that. You're crazy for thinking that you're gonna make me do that. So I went up to my dad and I was like, hey, you don't get to choose, we're doing this.
Yeah. So in short, I was forced to do it. But then you elaborated and decided we can't just do it. We had to do it in costume.
Yeah.
Which then went Juliet's going through the costume cupboard and finding what did you find?
The banana outfits.
So hence 2 bananas appeared on Deal Beach on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
I didn't realise when we did it, to do the first on the 40th anniversary of the Big Dip, I think is quite special as well, to be part of that. Without knowing it, I think that's great. And then, you know, to be speaking to you today, as you've just told me, from where it all started in Deal Angling Club, again, it's those special stories which people just don't know. And it's lovely, you know, that is why places are special.
Started to use the clubhouse in 1981. Carried on using the angling club for the dip for the next 10 years until one year the beach was washed away in front of the club and it was just virtually straight down. That they decided to move closer to the pier. The fun that they seem to have, they're jolly cold, as you say, but it's, they seem to enjoy themselves as well as raising a lot of money for local charities, which is really what it's all about.
I grew up in Ireland and most of my summer holidays were involved swimming in the Irish Sea, which makes you hardy. My mum and I basically had a rule that if you hadn't swum in the sea, effectively you hadn't been on holiday. We are, I'm afraid, DFLs, moved down from London a year ago. One of the things I wanted to do to actually have more of a community spirit. What better way to combine sort of a crazy affinity for swimming in cold water with developing that sense of community. And it absolutely over-delivered on my expectations. The bit that I was really surprised about was the fact that quite a lot of people ran in and ran straight back out again. Because Alex, my son, and I had this thing about what was going to be our benchmark of success. And we thought if we can get in and get up to our shoulders, that will be good. And if we could swim around, that would be a result. So we not only got into our shoulders, we also swam around before we thought, getting a bit cold now, I think we better come out and have that hot rum that my husband had waiting for us.
I only did it for 1 year and that was enough. And it was quite rough that year and I'm not a very good swimmer. And I was all right, all the while I could keep my feet on the ground, but it picked me up and carried me out and I went, Geoff, and he went, bye.
Everyone waiting around at the start, bit of an anxious start, big group in a pen waiting on the beach, ready to go in. Everyone's got their layers on still, ready for, you get the countdown and everyone's jumpers all get whipped off and thrown up the beach. Then it's the mad dash in. Some people like to race out and see how far out they can go, and some people just have a quick dunk and straight back up for a towel.
I am Scotty Roberts of the Dining Club, and my little girl is Ruby Roberts. For us, it's just so nice to do something for charity, to raise a little bit of money, but it's the camaraderie that I like. You know, everybody comes out and it's, everyone's like, "Way, well done, you did it." I think for me, that's one of the main things, and giving a little bit back to Deal and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just it's good fun, but the only thing that lets it down is the cold water and getting out afterwards. That's the worst bit.
I was persuaded and told and had to go in to prove that I could do that sort of thing. So I did walk down to the sea and went in with my robe on. Now, in those days, it was the original robe, which was made of wool barathea, and it was down to my ankles. I was wearing the mare's chain, which, of course, a very valuable piece of gold, shall we say.
I have heard that story, and my town sergeant, who's a wonderful character, when I first met him, told me about this story, and he said if anything happened, he said, he would be diving in to rescue the chain.
Why did I throw myself into the very cold sea on Boxing Day? It was your fault.
It was Abby West's fault. It started off as we were looking for volunteers on the Dual Radio Facebook page, looking for volunteers to do the aforementioned Boxing Day dip. I foolishly mentioned that I used to do it a few years back, which was immediately taken as, oh, Paul's going to volunteer, well done. And I do believe you felt sorry for me.
You had absolutely no choice, did you? You were totally railroaded.
I couldn't back out of it at this point, so I said, yeah, I'm up for it.
I think you put something up on the forum. We have a group chat, as most people do when they want to try and sort stuff out. And no one stepped forward.
Nope.
No one. And in a fit of absolute madness, I thought, I'll do it. And then instantly regretted it. But it was in writing and there was no backing out. So, and I thought, you can't do it on your own.
It's a press gang, isn't it? We was press ganged into it all.
Yeah, I think so. They bullied us.
From a toddler age, I've always been going to it. As I got older and into my teens, I was less likely to jump in because my hair and my makeup. And then once you get past that stage, it's time to get in. So from about the age of 24, 25, I've been jumping in every year to enjoy whatever and working with the community to raise money for whoever needs the funds at the time. It was extra special this year, not because of the 40th year, but simply because we were actually allowed to do something during COVID, which was normal and standard for us in Deal. And it was just amazing. It was very quiet at first and people were very sombre. Come to about 8 minutes to 11 and it was party time. Everybody was happy, everybody was excited. Everyone was cold, but that's how it's meant to be.
"2020 came, and that was the year we could not go ahead with it. So really, there was just the 1 year, 2020. We almost were there when the government then brought in that restriction, and no, nothing, can't do anything, no gatherings, and so we had to let everybody know it was not going to happen.
Yeah, there were concerns. What we did this year, we tried to get people to book early. We had a stall in the Saturday market in Deal to attract people there, and many people signed up to that. We also got people to book well in advance. And we did a lot more publicity, particularly using social media.
My name's Gary, and come and join us on Saturday the 4th of December in the Deal Saturday Market. The Rotary Pirates have got a stall. Come and join us and say hello.
We volunteered to help just set up, get the barriers out, the gazebos up, just a bit of general sort of manual labour work. From the rowing club we have a lot of sort of fit and healthy people that are quite happy to volunteer and do whatever bits is necessary really.
I think it all really started when, once the gazebos were set up, it was still like an hour and a half before the start. It was like 9:30, and we could see people milling around and coming up to buy the wristbands or even to register. Even at that time, there seemed to be something in the air, you know, like a buzz, a sense of excitement.
I'm doing it for Ruby's charity, which is based at Dover College, and yeah, that's why we're doing the Boxing Day dip.
I'm Lisa, I'm a volunteer at Deal Radio. Two of our presenters have agreed to go into the sea today. Don't know why, but they are, and they're raising money for Deal Radio.
Fantastic, fantastic. My first time. I've watched them do it a couple of times before and seen videos and thought I have to do this, and today is the perfect day for it. And then I saw the flamingos, warmed up, and off we went. It was fantastic.
My name's Fran, and I'm doing this because I think 1 or 2 minutes of pain doesn't compare to the rough sleepers and the homeless people who have to lie out in the rain and the snow all year round without any support.
Okay, I'm Steve and this is Elaine, and we've been doing the Boxing Day dip in Deal for Parkinson's UK.
Currently we've raised £700.
We're doing it for Digby's Smile.
Oh, there you go. I'm just doing it to raise money for Deal Rotary and Digby's Smile.
I'm Helen, and I come from London, but my mum lives in Sandwich, and that's why I'm here today. And I love swimming in the cold water. Love it.
So, just tell me who you are.
Donna Walker. I'm here raising money for Sandown Primary School to sort out all of our playgrounds.
Is your dad going in with you?
He is. He's over there. Oh,
There he is! So did you want to do this or did you get dragged into it?
No, believe it or not, I swim every morning, so I'm holding hand.
Tracy's fault. Tracy bullied us into it.
We're doing the Boxing Day dip for Digby's Smile.
Yeah.
This is my wife, Joan Hutchinson Cox, and she's doing it for the Home Start charity she works for. And I've just been roped into it for the Liver Trust.
And this is one of those special occasions in Deal. It's tradition. It's great that it's back. It's great that so many people have come down today to take part in this lunacy. But also it's a fundraiser for Rotary and for local charities. So I'm very grateful to everybody who has organised this event, and particularly those people who have taken part. They're absolutely splendid.
I think the people were mad going in the water,
but I thought it was a fantastic effort. And for me, to see people turning out on a really cold, miserable day and thinking of others, which is so important in a society which, personally, I think is very selfish today.
This year we had something like 240 people booking in advance, and on the day we had another 140. So in total, I think the figure that actually bought tickets was 385. But it's extremely pleasing to have so many people after the event thanking us for the way it was run.
My name is Simon, and I am the chairman of a motley crew of Rotarians called the Pirates. I wasn't at the Boxing Day dip. I had COVID. Well, I didn't actually have much of a thing. I just had something that's called COVID, and that meant I had to stay at home. So I wasn't there, which was a real shame, because from what I can see from the footage that got onto the news, within about an hour and a half of the event folding, it looked amazing. And I knew that it would have been good had I been there, probably waving a bucket, maybe doing a bit of marshalling, making sure the people ran in the right direction.
So my name's Dominic Harper. I did fine arts a long time ago. I ended up doing art teaching quite a while and then working on art qualifications for one of the exam boards. And then the last, 6 to 7 years I've been in Deal and had time to do my own artwork again. So I've been back to doing things. One of the things I always wanted was a longer lens, and I got a 300mm lens, which was a nice one. It's a really good one. Actually I got it the day before. It's sort of like a Christmas present, which I bought myself kind of thing. And the day after was the Boxing Day Dip 2015. And I thought, I'll just go down and take some shots. And I got on the pier and they worked really well. And I just took lots and lots of photos because there's an awful lot of activity. The whole thing is happening, in about an hour or two. It's all over from start to finish. It must have been about 3 years later. Somebody gave me it was just a second-hand jigsaw as a Christmas present. And I hadn't done, I thought, oh, well, I'll do that, some other time. I hadn't done a jigsaw in 30 years, whatever. And this was 1,000 pieces. But it was very addictive, and within 3 days I just basically spent a lot of time and got the whole thing finished. And then I just thought, hang on a minute, I've got all these photos which are a bit like jigsaw pieces, and I could make them into jigsaw pieces with Photoshop and then actually put them together into one image that worked. So that's what I started doing. It took about maybe 3-4 months. And that got into the Turner in the portfolio show and won a prize there. So that was good.
It was actually 2018 when Margaret Edwards and her daughter and Carol Corey, they were considering packing it in, shall we say, giving it up. They'd done it for 37 years of the 40 years that it's been running. So therefore, they were looking for organisations like Rotary to take it over. So that was 2018. Margaret, her daughter, and Carol Corey all came to some of our first meetings to give us what to do, to tell us what to do and give us the ropes, because that's quite a challenge to take that over.
Well, we'd had a lot of people approach us that wanted to do it, several different things in Deal. But nobody wanted to do it for the people of Deal, whereas the Rotary Club said that they would do it for Deal.
And when we took over the dip jointly with the Icebreakers in 2018, we had to demonstrate to the Icebreakers that we were going to look after, incubate what they started all those years ago and develop it. We believe that we are a safe pair of hands for the Boxing Day dip.
I have to say, David Lister and Simon Pollard and the others on the Pirates side of things, they were wonderful. They may well eventually, I don't know, but they may well eventually take it over.
There's a huge thank you to everyone that turns out on a cold boxing morning. So we thank all the volunteers that have come to help us, we thank the dippers, and we thank all the spectators that have come to make the dip the huge success that it is, and we hope grow in future years.
When I'm not here, this Boxing Day dip will still be going, still helping people of my community.
Welcome along to the... right.
Hang on, my nose is starting to run.
No, use that.
Shall I run to the loo?
You ain't that nervous, are you?
I've got them up every, I was going to say every orifice, but most sleeves, I've got one.
Come on, Polly, you can say it. Come on, you can say it. Who's a pretty boy then?
Definitely not you.
Oh.
And how many times have I told you, you are not henpecked? Definitely not.
No, I'm not. Definitely not henpecked.
No.
Or parrot-pecked.
Yeah, I know, I just wanted to mess up your focus, mate. This year's Boxing Day dip, do you notice that? Freudian slip. Last year, this year, Christmas, Boxing Day, on the cusp, always gets you every time. I'm sure you'll do that a bit out later as well.
Shoot the banjo, people. Can you put that in again?
I think Marlene still is a bit of an actress. And every time you go to a douche, she'll suddenly get out the spoons or something and start playing or a tambourine. And she's an entertainer.